You know, at Time Inc., we are all about telling great stories. And of course, increasingly, we're focused on telling your stories. In our headquarters, we have a group, in fact, called the Foundry that houses 150 people who have the opportunity to leverage all the collective expertise of over 100 years of building great media brands, all the wonderful journalism, and all the brand equity that exists across our entire brand portfolio to help you, our marketing partners, also tell great stories. It's something we're really proud of, and an area of our business that's one of the fastest growing across the entire portfolio. We're honored to have that opportunity to partner with so many of you and to help you tell those stories across native and branded content formats. And you know, it's really about access for us. It's about looking across all the brands in the Time Inc. portfolio, brands like People and EW, InStyle, Fortune, Sports Illustrated, and indeed Time. Iconic brands that truly connect with consumers and have special access to consumers because of the trust and the engagement and the confidence that those consumers have in us. It gives us the ability to enter their homes and to even enter their hearts and tell great stories. Our stories and yours, those stories that collectively matter most to those audiences. It's a big part of the focus for us. And of course, that trust with consumers matters more than ever, because I think we all know that truth and trust and accountability are under attack today more than they ever have been in any of our recent memories. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the Time brand just for a minute. Time is a brand that is focused on leading the global conversation and capturing the cultural zeitgeist, identifying those key cultural moments that truly connect with consumers. And we do it by focusing on the men and women who are achieving great things and changing the course of history. It's about influence. It's about those remarkable achievements across all industries, across news, sports, business, entertainment, and identifying those people that are accomplishing those breakthrough moments that exist across the entirety of our culture. And if you think back about 2017, there was perhaps no bigger breakthrough moment, no bigger story in our culture, no bigger moment in the cultural zeitgeist than the rise of women. And today, we thought it would be a great opportunity to bring you inside a story about how two brands who celebrate remarkable personal achievement came together to create a branded content experience and a marketing platform that truly connected with consumers, captured that moment, and drove extraordinary results. So I'm honored here today to have two truly visionary and supremely talented women here on stage to help us tell that story. They are the true experts. Please help me welcome Alana Radmin Oxabel, VP of Brand Communications at Buy Beverages, and Susanna Schrobsdorff, Executive Editor of the Time brand, as well as the Chief Strategic Partnership Editor for Time. Welcome.
Well, as you said, I have two titles, and I'm sort of bifurcated. Half of me is editorial. I edit, I write. I edited this year's Choice for Person of the Year, which we were all really proud of. Took a big role in first, working with Alana. And I also work, half my time I spend with our publishing side, with marketing, with clients, with ad sales, trying to find that perfect match. It's like being a dating app of some kind. I know what we're doing journalistically and what our expertise is, and so sometimes it's just great to talk directly to the clients that want to be next to Time as a trusted brand and tell them what we're doing and see how we can work together. So I find it better. The content's better, the way that the native fits in is better. So I don't know why we didn't start doing this years ago. So what we wanted to talk about today is a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at how the program that we developed called First, which was about women breaking the glass ceiling, that we started working on 2 years ago, and with which we partnered with Buy, and how we developed a lot of the women's content we have now, because today we have a story, our cover story is 48 women who are running for office for the first time. And we're calling it The Avengers. It's out on stands now, and I think what we find is we had years where women weren't really on the cover of Time magazine. Now we can't get them off the cover, so I think we're in good shape. So when we got to all of us journalists, when we got to the end of 2016, we were exhausted, and we thought, oh, President Trump will settle in, he'll calm down, everything will be fine, we can get a break. It didn't happen. And we knew something was up when we saw that the number of buses rented for the Women's March was like double what the buses rented for the inaugural attendance. So already we're like, oh boy, there it goes. And as you know, the year unfolded, and history is being made every hour, every minute, every tweet. Something's probably happened while I'm standing here. And what we found is that a brand like Time is needed more than ever, because our covers will sum up the zeitgeist and will sum up what's going on, give people context. Because I sometimes feel like when we put it on the cover, it gives it a bit of a legitimacy, like the Me Too movement. But history does not happen this fast. Everybody goes, oh, that happened really fast. You remember you heard like men being toppled from their positions of power every week. That movement was 20 years in the making. Just ask gay rights activists who will tell you when we said that gay rights happened, you know, the marriage equality happened in a minute. They'll tell you, no, we've been fighting for this for 40 years. So that cover was preceded by decades, but probably the last year of activism. Started with the Women's March, then it went to, you remember, Uber was toppled by a woman writing about sexism. Then Bill O'Reilly lost his job, which was because of a woman. Taylor Swift testified about being broke and said she wasn't going to handle it anymore and wasn't going to deal with that anymore. And then the Me Too movement started. Harvey Weinstein's horrific behavior was revealed in the New York Times, and women started sharing their stories with the Me Too hashtag. And so we got to the end of the year, and we thought, well, what are we going to do for Person of the Year? And there were a lot of people arguing that it should be Trump, because, as Andrew Sullivan once said, the columnist, he seems to have no control of himself, but constant control of us. So he dominated every conversation, lots of stuff happened. But then we thought, what happened this year that actually will change society, that will have what we call influence over the next 10 years? And it was, of course, the number of women. We laid out how many women had already come forward for our managing editor, and he said, there are just too many women, this has to be it. So we embarked on this project somewhat in secret, because none of the people even working on the covers know who's going to be the Person of the Year cover. So certainly Donald Trump, who seemed to think he was Person of the Year. In fact, he tweeted that we'd offered it to him and he turned it down. We'd already shot that cover 5 days before he just saying. So this was the culmination of all that work. The women on the cover that you see are a diverse cross-section of America. The woman on the left is a berry picker from Southern California, undocumented. The woman in the center is a Republican lawmaker from California. Taylor Swift, you already know her. Ashley Judd came forward about Weinstein. And Susan Fowler was the young woman who wrote that blog post about Uber and basically may have shaken up all of Silicon Valley and the sexist attitudes by literally laying it out, laying out what happened. Like I said, movements don't happen in a minute. And last year, when we thought we were going to see the first woman nominated for the office of president by a major party, we decided to embark on other firsts, right? So we started to look at the women over history who defied convention, who decided to say that whatever was supposed to be, whatever you were supposed to do, they were going to leave it behind. This woman was the first woman to direct an animated feature. There are any number of women within the package, as you can see. They're not all famous. Some of them are scientists, some of them are generals, some of them are famous like Ava DuVernay or Hillary Clinton. But I kind of like the less famous ones. Sylvia Earle, who was the first chief scientist at NOAA. She started out by answering an ad, which was a PhD student at Harvard, for people who wanted to live under the ocean for 2 weeks at a time. And they didn't expect any women to apply. And so they didn't know quite what to do. And they said, well, I guess the fish are half women, half female, so you can do it. So they put 5 women under the ocean, but they wouldn't put them with the men. They put them separately. And the commentators started calling them aquanauties, aqua babes. They asked how you get your hair dryer under the ocean, how are they gonna do their hair? And she persevered, and within 20 years later, she was head of NOAA after being called an aqua babe. So we can all take part in that. I guess the best way to let you know how incredibly inspirational these women are is to play the video, which we have a little preview of tease.
I don't think women need to do anything other than what they're doing right now, and that's moving forward. We're coming.
It's essential that in life you see yourself reflected in other people's stories. I was always looking for anybody that kinda looked like me.
The first time I walked out to pitch, different guys were all just like telling jokes to their teammates and the parents were laughing. When they saw me face the first batter, didn't really hear anything from that side of the field.
I've dealt with a lot of people who second-guessed me, who undermined me because of my age.
People would associate what my hard work meant, they would diminish it.
A lot of what pioneers do, they do not benefit from.
There's plenty of room in the world for mediocre men. There is no room for mediocre women.
The glass ceiling, that vocabulary is violent.
I wouldn't have gone to that glass ceiling yelling and screaming and I said, I'm gonna make you break. She literally put me in a catapult and threw me at it.
Here we are, early in the 21st century. The time has just come to finally break through.
The glass ceiling is nothing compared to the determination of women.
Not one thing ever does it. It's a series of consistent things that people say, aha, it's time for change.
To be part of that. No, we found the perfect partner in Vi because this journalism means a lot to us, having a partner whose mission aligns so perfectly with what we were trying to say with this content is one of the most important parts of my job is making sure that those two things happen, and we were thrilled, especially at the event where we had some of the women who were in first come and talk with us and be on a panel, and people got a little teary. Is that right, Alana? I think I'll let Alana tell you more about the partnership, but it was crying.
So, hi everyone. I could probably talk all day about this, but the prompter says I have 5 minutes, so I'll go as fast as I can. Before I talk about just why this partnership made so much sense, I'm going to show you a piece of content because I'm sure for those of you who know Vi, and I got my little aided awareness right here, I'm sure you're familiar with our Justin Timberlake, Christopher Walken commercial from last year's Super Bowl. Hopefully you guys all saw that. But as a growing brand, our #1 marketing objective is brand awareness. We still have a ways to go. We've gone leaps and bounds in the last 2 years, but we still need to tell people what we make and why it's different. But we also have found through a lot of consumer research that our consumer cares about brands with purpose, and they care about storytelling, and they care about how a product came to be, who the founder is, what the backstory is. And so, as a challenger brand, we wanted to tell our story. We're a brand that, from our founder, has never accepted conventional wisdom. We've always kind of, defied stereotypes, haven't accepted the status quo, and we told that through this video, which you're about to see, which is narrated by our Chief Flavor Officer, Justin Timberlake. And this is a piece of content. Once you guys see this, I'm sure you'll see how this partnership came to be. So.
We're taught that we should dream big, ignore the impossible, that asking questions is a good thing, until we start asking too many. Then we start hearing a lot of because. You know what? Because sucks. and it never solved anything. So at Buy, we had to make a choice. Follow the crowd and fall in line, or be one of the unconvinced. The ones who take conventional wisdom and unbelieve. When you unbelieve, it's more than a state of mind. It's a statement about your potential. It's the flash that sparks a revolution and the glowing ember inside all of us that refuses to ever go out. Unbelieve that there's no new ideas under the sun. Unbelieve that the little guy can't take on an entire industry. Unbelieve that great taste and good for you can't go together. And if you're able to unbelieve, life can be unbelievable.
That is one of the pieces of content that we developed as part of our Unbelieve series. And again, don't have a ton of time, so I won't go into all the details about why we made this. But again, starting with our founder and his story, he founded the product in his basement of his house in Princeton, New Jersey. And whoever thought that this small brand could be such a challenger and eventually be acquired last year by one of the big ones, by Dr. Pepper Snapple. So it's been a big year for us, and this was a partnership that we just felt aligned so well with our mission. You know, with first, again, it's all about defying stereotypes, breaking barriers, celebrating people who do that. And we put out an RFP looking for a partner to help us tell our Unbelieve story, and we really thought there was no better partner than Time. We were initially looking at using multiple partners, and then we decided to just go all in with this because First was such a great platform for us. You can see here, I mean, we had everything from traditional banner ads, as well as co-branded banners and video co-promoting First. But one of the pieces that was really unique, and one of the reasons why we're all here today, is we developed a co-branded piece of content that you see right in the middle. That's Cassie Dippical. She's an up-and-coming First. She has a Guinness World Record for being the youngest and fastest woman to travel to all 196 sovereign nations in the world. And she was told she couldn't do it. She was told she was crazy. She thought about stopping several times just because of cost. She went to countries that don't welcome an American from Connecticut with blonde hair. So she did this. She now holds a Guinness World Record. And so we created this co-branded piece of content that lived on Buy's channels, that lived on Time Inc.'s channels. It was perfect for our Unbelieve mantra. And she posted up her channels as well organically, which was great. We saw a lot of engagement there. And then you can see we were part of the event, which Susanna talked about, which was just great. We actually brought in some of the female leaders from Buy and Dr. Pepper to honor them, and they were all in tears at the event, as she mentioned. So again, this was just a perfect fit, perfect partnership. And if you go to the next slide. Again, I know we've talked a lot here about KPIs and results, so just so you can see some of them. Over 6 million impressions delivered for Buy via the Time First Hub. Video completion rate of 76%. I mean, we all know video completion rate is not a metric we all sometimes love to look at, but this was just excellent. And we did run our manifesto ran as pre-roll and a third of all of the content, which was great. And over 1.5 million impressions delivered via the Adapt Video across all of Time Inc., so not just Time the magazine, but People and InStyle and all the great publishers. And then over 26 million impressions delivered on that co-branded video that I talked about with Cassie. And we did run a Facebook brand lift study because we ran the content via social as well. We cut some of the content, and we saw a significant lift in ad recall among women in our core demo, which was great. So I'm happy, again, my time's up in 20 seconds, but happy to answer any questions about the partnership. As you guys can see, this is just such a wonderful fit, and we're looking forward to doing more.
More coming.